من موقع للتصوير بني خصيصا لأحداث فيلم سينمائي إلى مزار لآلاف السواح الذين يستعيدون من خلال هذه العمارة الغريبة مرحلة من الزمن. أما بيوت العطلات التي تبنى في هولندا فتبرز اختلاف معايير العمارة بين زمنين في بقعة واحدة. التقنيات المستعملة في تصنيع السيارة استعملت نفسها في تشييد هذا البيت الذي يأخذ شكل يخت باذخ. البيت العرزال أو بيت الشجرة تحول هنا إلى مشروع هندسي سخرت له إمكانات كبيرة. كل هذا في حلقة اليوم من أذواق. من موقع للتصوير بني خصيصا لأحداث فيلم سينمائي إلى مزار لآلاف السواح الذين يستعيدون من خلال هذه العمارة الغريبة مرحلة من الزمن. أما بيوت العطلات التي تبنى في هولندا فتبرز اختلاف معايير العمارة بين زمنين في بقعة واحدة. التقنيات المستعملة في تصنيع السيارة استعملت نفسها في تشييد هذا البيت الذي يأخذ شكل يخت باذخ. البيت العرزال أو بيت الشجرة تحول هنا إلى مشروع هندسي سخرت له إمكانات كبيرة. كل هذا في حلقة اليوم من أذواق. لا لكونها عمارة غريبة وبدائية تحظى بكل هذا الاهتمام من السياح الذين يتوافدون بعشرات الآلاف سنويا متفحصين جدران وزوايا وأبواب هذا المعلم المعماري الذي تحول بفضل السينما إلى أشهر موقع تصوير يحظى باهتمام الناس.
Finding what turned out to be 158 locations that were used for filming of The Lord of the Rings. And as they looked over the beautiful rolling green hills, the scattered tree lines, and our lovely mountain ranges in the background, which are known as the Kaimai Ranges, they realised that this potentially is the spot they'd been looking for. Hello Qatar TV, my name is Shane Forrest, Marketing Manager. I'd like to welcome you to Hobbiton Movie Set, here in the beautiful Waikato region of New Zealand. So out here in Hobbiton Movie Set, we were the site that was used for the Lord of the Rings trilogy that was filmed out here by Peter Jackson, the director. So he was out here filming, built from disposable materials in those days, only meant to last a couple of months. So the main materials that were used were plastic, polystyrene, plywood and untreated pine. Things that could be nice and easily crafted and constructed, and then as per the contract, could be deconstructed at the end of filming. After they signed the contracts, the New Zealand Army were brought in March of 1999 to start construction out here. So the Army were brought in to build the road for access to the movie set, because during filming there could be over 200 vehicles travelling up and down that road daily. There's also the very famous scene as Gandalf came riding into town and made his way through the village of Hobbiton on his horse and cart, and of course a very excited Frodo was sitting right beside him out there. Now during filming of The Hobbit, they came back. They said to the Alexanders, for continuity purposes, they wanted to come back and rebuild Hobbiton exactly the same as it was the first time round, with all the Hobbit holes in the same locations. By that stage, we've been running our tours out here since 2002. So Russell Alexander, the middle brother and our general manager, he said to the film company, yes, you can come back and use our property again, but if you want to use our property, we want all the Hobbit holes to be built from permanent materials, so it's here for years to come for people to enjoy. So since the rebuild for the Hobbit trilogy, it's all been built from permanent materials. All the framing around the outside of the Hobbit holes, to make it look like hobbits lived here hundreds of years, the construction crew would start up the chainsaw, run the chainsaw down the pieces of wood to bring out the stress cracks and fractures, get a chain, beat the piece of wood with the chain to take out a few chunks, give it a nice textured look, sandblast it to give it that nice textured aged look. They then get vinegar, paint the vinegar over the top of the wood, which gives it a nice grey aged darkened appearance. So that's our tree, now known as the party tree. Probably, I think it's safe to say that would be now one of the most famous trees in the world. It's around 85 to 100 years old and perfectly placed in front of the lake as it was described in the books. Because it is as it was described in the books, the party tree in front of the water, a lot of people assume our lake was put in for filming, which it wasn't, but that's also not a natural lake. That lake out there was put in by the family who owned the farm before the Alexanders. That was put in back in around 1940 as a duck shooting pond. We're still stretched over 12 acres, which is a pretty good site for a movie set. So in amongst the Hobbit holes, there's beautiful gardens, vegetation. The door that opens and closes, all the Hobbit holes are different, created for a different purpose. So they all come in different colours, different amount of textures. Out the front of the Hobbit hole, they have a few props. There's chairs around, there's brooms, there's gardening tools. So when they came back for the Hobbit trilogy, like the rest of the set, the Green Dragon was constructed from permanent materials, but like everything else, it was a shell placed on the hillside. So once they finished filming, we scraped out the hillside and built an exact replica of what was created in the studios to create the interior of the Green Dragon Inn. So you head into the Green Dragon, over 2 kilometres of macrocarpa beams are running throughout there. You walk up to the bar, which is exactly as it was in the movies, the big barrels that all our beverages are poured out of. So all the plates are made from ceramic moulds, all as it was seen during the movies, and all wooden furniture all throughout. People get to sit down, relax, and really take it all in as they have a look around. Thank you very much, Qatar TV. It's been a pleasure having you visit us out here in Hobbiton Movie Set in Matamata in New Zealand. Really nice talking with you today, and I hope to see you again.
بعد الفاصل.
Welcome Qatar TV. There's a lot of horizontal lines in the architecture, as you've seen from the outside.
The Mobius house is a very sculptural house that is at once completely unique, yet at the same time fits into the streetscape of the building.
On completion, the treehouse was used as a cafe or restaurant.
ليس بعيدا عن أمستردام تحظى الجزر النهرية باهتمام المعماريين ومحبي امتلاك بيوت للعطلات إضافة إلى ساكنين دائمين. برفقة هذا المهندس انطلقنا إلى أساليب هندسية في الجزر النهرية، وكان من خلال جولته يهدف إلى إبراز تفوق تصميمه عندما قارنه ببيت تقليدي حديث البناء وبيت تقليدي عمره 100 عام، كلاهما يتمتعان بمساحة أرض عائمة كما بيته، ولكنهما عزلات داخلة عن الخارج كليا على عكس ما فعل.
Welcome Qatar TV. We are today on a location very close to Amsterdam, about 15 kilometers from Amsterdam, yet very remote and quiet place. We managed to work our way around within the ruling of the municipality to build a house with close to 380 cubic meters, because part of the bedrooms are below the terrace that you see here. By extending it with these white cubics, which is also used for sunshades in the very hot summers, we created a sort of a platform on different levels, which can be a metaphor for ships. Terrace is slightly raised because the bedrooms are below here. This is the typical area where the family gathers and having their lunch and dinners, obviously overlooking the beautiful environment here. As you can see, we can completely open the doors here, so the inside-outside is very much one thing. Small kitchen, small dining area. There's a lot of horizontal lines in the architecture, as you've seen from the outside. There's also a vertical element, which is the staircase. Very strange for a place like this, that there's 3 floors.
And it's a great place for a family. We are with 4 kids, my wife and I. And you know, enjoying the water. Kids are swimming, and it's lovely to wake up here. You have to see the master bedroom.
This is the master bedroom. As you can see, on all sides we have windows, and it's actually framing the exterior. In summertime, and it's really nice weather here, there's no reason to go inside for a shower. You might as well take the shower outside.
فعلا يعطي البيت عن بعد ومن زوايا متعددة شكل اليخت في المرسى، وهذا ما أراده في وظيفة البيت، أن لا يكون معزولا عن الخارج. فابتكر حيلا معمارية تسمح لك بالتمتع بالطبيعة عندما يكون الطقس مشمسا، تؤمن لك الراحة عندما يكون الطقس ماطرا بالانتقال إلى الداخل، تماما كمفهوم اليخت.
It's like a boat. It's like I was inspired by. I'm a sailor myself. So is Willem, and we were inspired by the fact that when you're on a sailing boat, you're always outside. You're hardly inside, and this is exactly the same atmosphere that we created here. The owner, of course, and a lot of their friends and other people around, they love the house because it's really making a different statement now for this area. But there are also a lot of people who are still thinking very traditionally, and they would prefer the old shaped house like we've been building for centuries in the Netherlands.
This house was built more like you would build a car than you would build a house. You have the chassis, or the steel structure, the cladding on the outside, like the metal panels, and all of the wiring, air conditioning, etc. happens in a very thin zone between the structure and the outside cladding, just like a car. Hello Qatar TV, welcome to the Mobius House in Sydney. My name is Tony Owen, and I'm the architect and the owner of this house. The Mobius House is located near Bondi in Sydney. It has beautiful panoramic views of Sydney Harbour, the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. So it's one of Sydney's most premier locations, and this is one of Sydney's finest houses. We use 3D modelling software to view all of the views, the sun and the ventilation, so that the shape of the house responds specifically to those issues, maximises ventilation and minimises energy usage. The Mobius house is a very sculptural house that is at once completely unique, yet at the same time fits into the streetscape of the building. The main feature of the living area is the liquid staircase. The plastic staircase hangs from the ceiling and repeats the fluid geometry of the house. The main level contains the large living area, open plan sculptural kitchen, dining and family room. One of the feature elements of the living area is the unique fireplace from Fireworld in Chicago. This futuristic fireplace hangs from the ceiling. We conceived the kitchen as a sculpture in itself. The main bench top has a unique geometry constructed in steel and corian. We searched the world for the right chairs and found that the bubble chairs worked perfectly with the modern style of the house. Fronting onto the living area and dining area, which features contemporary design furniture. One of the unique aspects of this house is Lady Gaga came one night. She made dinner for Paris Hilton while the rest of Sydney was looking for where she was. Often celebrities drop by and enjoy the beautiful lifestyle of Sydney. Moving up the liquid staircase, we come to the level 3 Parents' Retreat. This is a unique space with large private terraces and panoramic views to the harbour. The bathroom is like a hotel room. The marble bath is surrounded by glass and open to the living space. This creates a sense of luxury, like being at a resort. The aluminium metal panels clad the house, giving it a crisp, clean appearance, which is also durable and very attractive. The house is a genuinely environmental building where the actual shape of the building was determined by the environmental features. What's great about these designs is you don't have any preconception of what the shape will be. The computer literally generates the shapes. Thank you, Qatar TV, for coming and visiting us in our house and enjoying the unique lifestyle of Sydney and getting a glimpse of the future of digital architecture in Australia.
بعد الفاصل.
On completion, the treehouse was used as a cafe or restaurant. I'd like to welcome Qatar TV to the treehouse. It's near Warkworth, just north of Auckland, New Zealand. This whole project started as a campaign for the Yellow Pages. The idea was to use something that was consistent with New Zealand's way of thinking, and the treehouse was decided as an object that was fairly close to the Kiwi's heart. The idea of a treehouse is that it does appeal to the child, it appeals to the adult. It's quite a fantasy type project. We were limited by the site, how the trees were located. We chose the biggest tree. It was right on the edge of the redwoods clearing, but it was right at the forefront and received the greatest amount of light, and in saying that, it was actually the biggest tree. The redwood tree is about 1.8 metres diameter at the base, and the point at which we connect, about 10 metres above the ground, is about 1.2 metres in diameter. It's around about 60 to 70 years old, and they grow very, very straight and very, very, very strong in themselves. We looked at shells, we looked at cloves of garlic and onions, and just looked at the forms, the natural organic forms that they took. To our minds, it actually has a closer resemblance to a chrysalis, and the chrysalis being the stage between a caterpillar and a butterfly. The building itself is quite reminiscent of that. you can see through it, you can see those changes. The structure was all craned into sight, and platforms and scaffolding was erected to actually enable the workmen to put the floor in place in particular. And once the floor was in place, we had a solid base that we could then build the rest of the structure, support the glue laminated fins, and the rest is history. It's worked superbly. The floor is all, again, it's Pinus radiata. It was cut around the base of the tree so that it allowed the tree to continue growing. On completion, the treehouse was used as a cafe or restaurant, and it operated for about 3 months just to prove that it was a real building. Now it's used as a boutique conference venue, functions venue, where it's just leased out on a daily basis as and when required. So there have been a number of weddings, birthday functions, just private entertainment type functions. To access a treehouse, we have built a 60-metre long walkway, and that is supported both on trees, but where we're short of trees, we've actually put in large timber poles. They're all, again, pine and all fully treated. A number of the local schools and also the architecture school within Auckland often come out here. They're looking at the timber technology, the innovation, just the ideas behind it, and the spirit of the place. Thank you, Qatar TV. This is Peter Ising from Pacific Environments Architects in Auckland. I hope you've enjoyed the treehouse.